Flying recently with one of my FPV quads, I noticed a strange thing about the Immersion RC EzOSD system, particularly the direction to home arrow that lives at the top of the screen in the middle. As you can see in this video, as you fly around, the screen tracks the direction to home, so at any point during the flight you can easily turn so that the arrow is facing directly ahead at the 12 o'clock position, and that will lead you back to where you initialized the model. You can on this system actually also reset what the home position is in case you power up the model in one position but actually want it to point back to land. Maybe it's a different part of a flying field or the actual airstrip itself. But what I found with the quads is when you don't fly forward, weird things happen. So if we just explain what that looks like, if we imagine that the cross on this diagram, the nice orange cross with home written in the middle, is where the GPS coordinates for home are stored. The red line is the flight path that we're going to fly up, and on the right hand side is what appears on the EzOSD display. I'll kind of walk you through what you need to be careful of. If we start talking about a plane model, something like the Bixler 2 or a flying wing, something that can only go forwards, then it becomes quite easy. You start off in one position, and what is actually happening is the EzOSD is tracking the position from GPS from 1 second to the next. And what happens is it understands the position you're at now, the position you were at last. It then figures out the direction of travel that you're going in. Doesn't seem to use the compass at all. Once it understands that direction, it knows where the plane is now, the direction of travel, and also where the GPS coordinate for home is, so it can put on the display the arrow in the right position. So here, if you kind of tilt your head to the right hand side a little bit and imagine you were sat in the cockpit of the plane, the arrow is pointing in exactly the right place to take you back home. Similarly, if we go and imagine we were flying the other way down the flying field, so we're up here up towards the top of the frame and we're coming back, again, by moving along forward flight, the EzOSD system understands the direction of travel, where we are, also knows where home is, so can again draw that arrow back. So now the arrow home is just below the 9 o'clock position on the display. Now that's all fine, that works perfectly. The challenge comes when you use a quad. If you fly backwards with a quad, the GPS, the EzOSD system and the GPS doesn't account for the fact that you are traveling backwards, doesn't appear to use the magnetometer at all. So what it actually does is it figures out where you are now, even though you're flying backwards, exactly the same as the plane, figures out where you were a second ago, and then says, oh right, okay, we must be flying down towards the left hand side of the screen. Understand that, brilliant. So in this case the direction to home is in like it was before, it's in that 9 o'clock position. But actually it's not. If you're looking through the goggles, it's actually diagonally opposite to the direction that you need to go in. And this is the point I want to make. If you're flying FPV with a quad with the EzOSD system, just be really careful about this, because what will happen is if you are getting lost or you're hovering around, if you are gently drifting backwards in the hover, you can very easily get confused because the direction to home arrow will not be accurate. What you have to do is tip your nose forward, fly forward for a little bit, and then watch until the arrow settles down, and then take your bearing from that and follow that arrow all the way home. So hopefully that's useful to those of you out there that are getting into this stuff. It will avoid you getting into trouble like I did in my first couple of flights where I used this extensively. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe, and happy flying.